Jimmy Fallon had Governor Cuomo on his show Monday night. I tell you this because otherwise no one would ever know. Once again, Jim held Andy's feet to the fire, hammering him on the preventable deaths that occurred in New York's rest homes after he filled them with COVID patients. Nah, just kidding.
What phase of dating are you currently in?
Zero. I'm at phase 0 on dating. There's no duration on phase 0.
Yeah, wow.
There is no automatic time that you go to phase 1. You could stay at phase 0 for months, by the way. I think New York City will be fully reopened before I get out of phase 0 on dating.
I thank you so much for your leadership. You were there for us when we needed you. You still are there.
Ugh, I feel as bad as Jimmy Fallon's hair. Look, I get it. I'm told Fallon hosts a comedy show, but has there ever been a politician who got more of a free ride from the press and celebs than Cuomo? Even during the worst of his response, he had his own public relations arm over at CNN.
This was the actual swab that was being used to fit up that double-barrel shotgun that you have mounted on the front of your pretty face. Do you think that you are an attractive person now because you're single and ready to mingle? Do you really think you are some desirable single person?
I think beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
Wow, that bit really killed. Literally, people died during that sibling act. But at least someone over at CNN has stones.
Andrew Cuomo seems to be on something of a victory tour, congratulating the state and himself for defeating the virus, even selling this poster, which shows his state getting over the mountain by bringing down the curve during the 111 days of hell, as the governor put it. The poster includes references to his daughters and a boyfriend, little inside jokes. There are no illustrations, however, of the more than 32,000 dead New Yorkers, the highest death toll by far of any state.
Well, that's going to make things tense at the CNN cafeteria. Cuomo also said this.
We're just worried that the infection is going to come from the other states now back to New York, which would be a real tragedy.
It's already a tragedy, at least for America, given that 65% of the cases that spread throughout the country originated from New York. Cuomo also bragged about the state's declining infection rate, but that's what happens when you run out of victims. Still, the media prefers to focus on Florida, even though New York has 8 times as many deaths and nearly twice as many infections, and Florida is roughly the same population as New York. But the governor loves to smear Florida, and oddly, so does CNN. Look at these headlines. Weird, isn't it? But again, Florida is run by a Republican that Chris Cuomo's brother, the governor, doesn't like. Seems like a perfect story for a media watchdog show called Reliable Sources. I'd say they're too busy watching Fox kick their network's butt, however. But unlike Chris Cuomo, I don't condone violence. All right, Jesse, let's get to the important point here. Fallon's hair. Well, you're in shutdown. I'm in shutdown. Our hair looks great. What's going on with Fallon?
That looked like bedhead. But sometimes if you're Hollywood,
yes,
bedhead is the look. So I don't know. I just want to know what kind of conditioner he's using, because that looks like some nice flow. I know we're a little tight on time. The only thing I'd say about Cuomo is Trump made him a star. Trump gave him everything he wanted, gave him ships, gave him PPE, and it was like the Trump and Cuomo show for the first part of this. The only really thing great that Cuomo did was he locked the city down China style. I mean, that was a very vigilant lockdown, even though he was late a little bit, and then he infected everybody in the nursing home. So it's a mixed record. And as a politician, politicians don't take ownership; they pass blame, and that's what makes politicians good politicians, though.
Yeah. Dana, isn't there anybody like over at Fallon or somewhere that watches this stuff, this love fest, and go, this is bad television? It's disgusting, at least to human beings.
Well, and it's not like there hasn't been reporting about the nursing homes. I mean, it's out there. People can read about it if they choose to. But it wasn't just Fallon. Greg, I watch CBS Sunday Morning quite often, and Jane Pauley, who now is the main anchor there, she did an interview with Cuomo. This is about a month ago, and she's up at the governor's mansion. This is when I think the deaths from the nursing homes were much more raw for the families that were grieving. Not a single question, but a lot of questions about his dating life and his future for a possible presidential run. So it's just extremely widespread. It's a remarkable PR coup for Governor Cuomo. I don't know if anybody could ever repeat it.
Judge, why don't you just run for governor so we can just fix this?
No. No, thank you very much. But I'll tell you very quickly. I think the most disgusting part of this was that what the governor did do was he got a bill passed that he signed into law that pretty much gave immunity to all the healthcare officials and everyone else for civil and criminal cases as a result of what happened in the nursing homes. Outrageous, outrageous. He was warned. He was told not to send infected patients in. All of those people died when they didn't have to die. He infected people in nursing homes, and he's on a publicity tour about the size of his nasal swab or whatever that was that his brother was talking about. It's horrible.
Yeah. I got to give Jake credit for actually doing that, and it shows, as Glenn Greenwald says, what happens if you're not related to the governor. You can speak truth to power.
Well, that's right, because I think it's not as if Cuomo is without flaws, Greg, but you do have to say that that daily briefing that he held proved to be very popular because it was informative. I think he filled a vacuum with information, a vacuum that people weren't getting from the president.
Yep.
And the second thing to say is, remember, you got a big city, big state, and he did pull down the curve. That's a success.
Okay.